asking me to.
Welcome to Jump Shots from the Goal Line. We're actually doing this live. I know, freaking weird. But when it's just the two of us, just me and Henny, things get a little wild. We try new things out. I don't know. Ben's not here to keep it, wild himself. So this is how we get wild. We go live and direct. So, if there's anybody that wants to join us, please join us. And you can send us questions, whatever. I doubt any of you are going to do that. I wouldn't do that, but
Well, we didn't tell anybody we were doing this, so we're just beta testing, really, right? We're just kind of throwing it out there, giving it a shot, seeing what the feel is.
yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I'm going to take the link. It is on my Twitter. So if we do this next week, you know where to look for it. I'll throw it on the IG too. And then I'm sure Henny will throw it on the the Twitter as well.
Sure will.
But Henny, how was your Thanksgiving while I put all this shit together?
Thanksgiving was good, man. It's always good to see family. Did the thing, ate well, enjoyed a healthy dose of football. It was a great week for sports as far as I'm concerned. Like NBA is getting going, NBA in-season tournament. I'd be lying if I said I totally understood it, but I definitely think it's cooking a little bit. Has my curiosity piqued, and I think there's enough interest in the NBA overall. And then a really great college football slate throughout the entire weekend, man. Like I just thought when you get to the rivalries, when you get to those end season games and all of that drama, I thought that was all great. But I mean, overall, Thanksgiving was fantastic. How about yourself, brother?
I went down to Yuma, hung out with the parentals, watched a lot of football. My dad loves it when I come home, strictly because my mom does not allow him to watch football when it's just them two. So when I'm home, my mom doesn't fuss about it because she'll just go to the other room. My mom's really into building ceramic crosses right now. I don't know. It's
Word.
She's in her 60s. She's retired. She's found her niche. This is her niche. So she went and did that. Dad and I watched everything you just said. If it was on TV, we watched it. And I have my ways to watch things. So we watched it all the college football, watched all of the NFL, even all the shitty NFL games that were on. Jared Goffed it. So I saw you put out a tweet about that.
He's back.
He's fully back. So
yeah. I was wondering where he was, but he's back.
Yes, exactly. So that was fun. Did watch the Wildcats on both levels. Again, always fun. They had a terrific weekend, which we'll dive into here in a little bit. And then what else? Watched Band of Brothers from start to finish.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched that, bro. I'd never watched it. Highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. So
I do have a hot take on Spielberg and or Spielberg. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure.
I do have a hot take on Steven Spielberg and Saving Private Ryan. If you're interested.
We have nothing but time, brother. Please elaborate.
I didn't really think you were going to shut me down, but I thought I'd just toss you a soft one, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to power through it either way. But you know how there's kind of like always this perception that Jaws is like this incredible horror movie and that, nobody really wants to go into the ocean based solely on the idea of the film Jaws.
Okay.
And I think as a child, seeing that opening scene in Saving Private Ryan, I was immediately like, I'm not doing war. And I think it might actually be a greater horror film than Jaws. Like within like 15 minutes of that movie, I was like, yeah, so I'm not doing war, like just to be clear. And I don't think that's why my dad wanted me to see it, or maybe that is why he wanted me to see it. I'm not sure. But yeah, and having watched it, is that a pumpkin porter? I hope it is. And having watched
peanut butter porter.
Ooh, even cuter. I will drink a pumpkin porter. And nothing wrong with a peanut butter porter. Who doesn't like peanut butter? But yeah, once I saw that, I just can't believe that movie is horrific. I just thought it was way scarier. I get in the ocean, but you ain't gonna see me signing up for no draft.
No, that's the scene. I think I know the one you're talking about. I haven't seen that movie in probably 10 years, but is it the one where the guy's just guts are blown all over like Normandy
Just
Beach?
just the whole D-Day scene. I mean, like literally, I don't know what the number is, but it feels like 1,000 people die in the first 3 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not doing that. I
Historically
mean,
accurate.
yeah, and I understand like times are different, the situation are different. Maybe if it's we're called upon in a different way, my answer is different. But just like a sneaky, like that's kind of a horror film to me. I thought that was like, what's more terrifying than that? I'm way less scared of sharks than I am of facing the true reality of war. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing about that movie is that Vin Diesel is actually a badass in it. You know, can't take that seriously anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
that hits a little different.
I watched that movie at a sleepover with my buddy Adam that you've met when we were
Hmm.
probably
Yeah,
like 8 years old. Had no business watching that movie,
yeah,
but his dad was like a huge like history buff, especially
yeah.
like World War II, you know, whatever. And he put it on, and yeah, dude, I was like 8 years old watching a dude literally trying to put his guts back in his stomach. So yeah, dude, it's an interesting movie. It's a good movie though. I will say that.
Sure.
Band of Brothers though, um, I never watched it. Very, very good on Netflix. I'd recommend you go watch it if you're feeling like you got 10 hours to blow, which when I'm in Yuma and there's nothing better to do, best believe I'm throwing on something like Band of Brothers. So it
Fair
was good
enough.
though, man. A lot of good food. My mom did all the cooking. I was supposed to smoke a turkey, and I went out and bought everything to do it. Was gonna spatchcock it that morning, like how Ben had told me to do.
Hmm.
Um, and I woke up that morning and she'd already thrown in the oven. She just totally cooked my smoked turkey. So it's okay. It was good. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely did some bird stuffing. I definitely was like jamming, herbs, spices, lemons, and other offerings into a turkey. So, got my hands in that bird, got a little dirty, and then of course dusted off the sticks, took out the tasties,
Did you?
teed them up, and hit the ball around on Sunday. So,
Where'd you go
yeah,
play at?
I was at El Conquistador, so went and played out there. Course is in pretty solid condition. Holed out from about 90 yards, so checked another box on the eagle, which is nice.
No
Been
way.
a little minute since I had one, so
Who are you out
uh,
there with?
our boy Colin Johnson, if you're out there
Okay,
listening, and then a
Colin.
couple of his guys that he put together, which one like is in the air doing like paragliding stuff and is trying to talk me into doing that. Probably going to be a pass, although I did feign interest just to be
Mhm.
nice, but I don't think ultimately I want to jump on like I don't want to fly in a kite. I don't think that's really what I want to do.
Yeah,
I respect it. I think it's very cool. Not sure I'm going to do that. And then another of his buddies who's in finance. So just an interesting group of fours, but like that's what's cool
finance
about
bro.
golf. You just go out there with anybody and you have the common bond and you swing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, dude. The paragliding, was it one of those that you just jump off a mountain and just
Yeah.
glide, or was it with a
Yep.
rope?
Yeah, just like I don't know, just jumps out there, I guess. I don't know.
No,
He's like, yeah, it's a
yeah,
nice little hike up there. Then you just jump, and he's like, you know, it's a really cheap entry point into flight because I'm like, yeah, because it's a kite. Yeah, like I got
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
I
Um,
I've never done that. I have done paragliding in Hawaii with the rope. Um,
yeah, that makes sense. Like parasailing.
Parasailing is so that's the
Yeah,
differentiation between it. One is sailing, one is gliding.
I can assure you what he showed me is far scarier. I just know that I don't know. I'm sure someone out there is listening and telling me we're both wrong.
Yes, probably.
But I know what he's doing is far gutsier than anything I would sign up for. It's basically, yeah, just like human flight, strap wings onto your back and jump off a cliff.
Yeah, that makes sense. The
Not for me.
parasailing thing was interesting. I wasn't scared at all. My wife was just terrified to even try it. We were standing in line to do it, and there was I feel terrible saying this, but a very heavy set Chinese like 11-year-old in front of us, and he was just giddy as hell to do it. And I guilted her into doing it. I said, "Look, if this chubby ass Chinese kid can do it, you can do it." It was great. I don't know if you've ever done parasailing
I
before,
have
but
not.
very, very relaxing up there. You can't think about that. You're 200 feet above the water, and if something happens, you're gonna die. But once you get over that, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that looks like fun to me. That's always been like something I would have signed up for. I just have never done it, but
Well,
that makes a
next
lot more
time, dude.
sense to me. The
Next
rope,
time you're in San
highly
Diego or
comforting.
Hawaii, give it a
Yeah,
shot.
exactly.
No, that's cool though, man. I'm glad you had a good time. So did you go to Phoenix to do Thanksgiving and then just came back?
Yeah, so I was up there. Yeah, so I was up there like Wednesday through Saturday. Came back sometime right before the game. I actually came right back just in time to see the Cats because by then I had to be locked in. I did have like the small thought of like going into Sun Devil Stadium, but I really did swear it off whenever the hell it was I was there last. I was like, I'm just never doing this again. I was actually explaining that to my uncle. My uncle's an ASU alum and super involved in most of my family's Arizona State fans, and he was going like, "You don't want to go to the game." I'm like, "Do you understand like how miserable of an experience that is? Like, do you realize like how shitty your people treat everybody? Like, do you have any idea? Like, I mean, I know you don't because you walk in the right gear. It's miserable as all hell.
Yeah.
Absolute hell and experience." And he's like, "Really? I think we just have fun when we're talking." I'm like, "We do. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do." I was like, "But you have some real heathens walking around there, some real sickos, some perverts, some creeps, some real bad people, and it's just
Some
miserable." And
Sun
I,
Devils.
I, I assume on some level, right? Like I'm sure we're not impervious to that, and that if you come down as an Arizona State fan, like maybe you don't have the world's greatest time in Arizona Stadium. However, the worst things I've ever heard in Arizona Stadium were still absolutely being said by Arizona State fans. So uh, maybe that's just my experience. Of course, I'm sure the naysayers on the other side have something different to say about it. But what a bunch of awful bunch of people.
Well, I'm sure it was probably more tame than usual this year, considering how the game went. I did
Correct.
hear some stories though. Jason Shear, he's a Wildcat, beat
Yeah.
writer or whatever from Wildcat Authority. He has his own little podcast, and I shouldn't say little, that's demeaning. He has his own podcast.
Yeah.
And
Hustler.
he said that there was one ASU fan that like flung their soda at a Wildcat fan. And the Wildcat fan just stood there and took it and laughed at him. And then he tried to do something else, and the cop basically tackled him. So they were just Sun Devils getting tackled all over that stadium, regardless. But I think overall it's pretty tame. That game was laughable, and it was so enjoyable to watch for, I'm sure, you and I and any other Wildcat fan. I was texting you the whole time. It was just my favorite part of a good ASU beatdown is the crowd shots, because
Yes.
like the first 5 minutes of the game they looked all like, oh yeah, because like Wildcats always come out and they're always very slow. Like the first drive of the game, things don't look great. First defensive drive, they always give up like some kind of points, and then
Yep.
for some reason they just completely turn it around after that. It's like they just have to get one good look on you, and then they can actually make changes, which is so weird for an Arizona fan to watch. But then after that, just them panning to the crowd and all the ASU bros like this the whole time, and the ASU girls, they've been to maybe one game, they're just like on the verge of tears.
How did this happen?
Nothing better. I If I could have, I would have collected them in a chalice, those tears, and drank them with some Thanksgiving leftovers. So that's how I felt.
Absolutely delightful. Couldn't be with you anymore on this. As much fun as I've had texting any of my buddies like in a long time, like just absolutely enjoying every single moment of that game. Yeah, they came out in the Wildcat. They went down. They scored their first points, as you mentioned, which was kind of weird. The sad part there, or the part that bummed me out, is I thought we were going to get a Trenton Bourget start. I would have been happy to see my guy at least get a little more shine. On the plus side, he's actually a quarterback. Instead, they opted to start at tight end. So that was like an interesting move by Arizona State, per usual. And then like the idea that they led the entire broadcast with like Dillingham, our boy Coach Dilly is like, this is about setting and dictating a culture, and this is about, setting a standard for who we are and what we're going to become. And apparently they're going to be a fucking nightmare, Dugan. So I loved every single second of it. It was just so great.
Did you see the story behind that though, by the way, why they started Conyers?
Well, yeah, Rashada being late to the meeting. Yeah.
Like,
Like
dude,
Rashada's 7 minutes late, so that then they suspended him. And I guess like that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, come on.
dude, yeah. So like Borgay goes out, he's sick before the game. Apparently had some bad Thanksgiving food. That's a tough look. That sucks, but I'm sorry. You're from Marana. That would have been a special game for you.
Hmm.
after I thought he played pretty well last year, right? He was,
He did.
he was the quarterback last year, and
Yeah, he
thought he
played in
played
that
pretty
game,
well.
and yeah, and he's had some moments this season. I
Yeah.
mean, like it hasn't been perfect. It's been a bad, it's not the best roster, so he's
Hmm.
hanging in there.
Yeah, and then Rashada, all the news, a day leading into that game is Rashada's going to get his first start. Since being hurt, blah blah blah. Turns out can't be late to a meeting. That is a thing. So Dilly, congratulations on setting the culture there, holding
Mm-hmm.
your guys accountable. Didn't expect you to start a tight end at quarterback and then just go full Wildcat. Wildcats didn't expect that either, by the way. I will give you that.
Tricky.
Once that was diagnosed, though, they couldn't do much with it. I thought, the linebackers, everybody played pretty well, stopping the Wildcat and whatever you want to call that offense. Then Rashada does go in, and we've been talking about Rashada all season. Not a lot, but we bring him up every now and again. Ben likes to bring him up.
13 million reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Was supposed to go to Miami. That NIL deal falls out. Then is supposed to go to Florida. Same exact thing happens. Then he goes to ASU. I didn't know this. Apparently, his dad was a player on ASU.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, why wouldn't you go there, right? Turns out the reason the NIL money fell out was because he's not good. 2 interceptions. I know that's harsh, but
No,
two
I
inter-
mean we're taking shots. It's a rivalry, dude. We're taking shots. I mean, like Dilling might actually be a good coach. I have no idea, but
I don't think so.
boy, we
No,
had a lot of fun on Saturday or on Saturday. Yeah, so who cares?
he had the 2 interceptions. He had 1 touchdown pass kind of in garbage time when we were just subbing everybody out,
Yeah,
rotating the squad, trying to get everybody a look. And then I think he had a fumble too as well.
fumble, pick. He was doing it all.
It was bad. And I'm not here to sit here and allow Sun Devil fans to be like, oh, well, you know, the guy before didn't recruit, the guy before put us in a bad spot. We don't have a lot of guys. Dillingham brought in like 30 dudes in the transfer portal. I think they had like a top 10 transfer portal class. So I'm not here to like have ASU fans be like, well, we don't have players. You do have some players. Their wide receiver is one of the best in the Pac-12, I believe, right? Badger or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he didn't play, but yes,
Yeah. But even then, right, they have guys, is what
they
I'm
got
trying to
guys
say.
though.
Yeah.
Yes, and Conyers is going to be a player in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'd be.
I would probably not
Wouldn't
a
you be
quarterback.
surprised? No, I don't think he's going to start a quarterback. I'd be shocked if he gets another start there. But I
Yeah.
do think he's like actually a pretty like I could see him playing in the NFL.
Yeah. Scatbo could not hit him on the trick play. So that was interesting to watch.
I hate
But
it.
yeah, I could see it. Yeah, he's athletic enough. He's a big dude. What is he, like 6'5", like 240?
Yeah, there's some big boys. I mean, they did not look small to me.
No,
Still, I mean, like that wasn't like some. It wasn't a bunch of little kids who were walk-ons getting pushed around. To your point, they
no.
still had dudes that are D1 size.
Yeah, for sure. I will say this though, it didn't affect that Wildcat offensive line much, if at all. Noah did get some pressure in his face. Noah handled it perfectly. Um, didn't allow a single sack on the day. That was impressive. Your boy Jordan Morgan looked phenomenal. Jonas Savanea looked phenomenal. The middle part of that line looked great. Noah, my God, like him and T Mac. I think if Noah's not the freshman of the year in all of college football, I want to see the guy to give it to. Because honestly,
Yeah,
since he's come on board, the Wildcats have won what? Like they lost, I think, his first 2 starts to Washington and SC,
Yep.
but then they pulled off what, 5 or 6 in a row, correct?
Yeah, and I want to say we're at 6 now,
Yeah, 6 in a
right? To
row,
get to 8.
beating 4 ranked opponents, taking a Wildcat team that nobody thought was going to do really anything, maybe pull out 6 games, and now they are 14th in the country. And probably at this point of the game, a top 10 team in the country, like just on pure merit, on like how they're playing right now. It's insane. And what did he throw? Like 530 passing yards?
Yeah, he broke the record. I know that, and it was 500 whatever. I think he was at like 530, 560. I forget. I know Tetaroa had 11 catches for 266 and a touchdown.
which is
I
now
know
the record.
that is also very good.
He set the record in the first half.
It was crazy. Noah just throwing to just T-Mac alone to start that game was just ridiculous. I mean, he didn't even really have to look anywhere else. I'm sure other guys were probably open too. It seemed like everybody was running free in the secondary,
Mm-hmm.
and we could pretty much do what we wanted at will. We actually had some health issues in the backfield, so it was really nice that we could just rely on Noah because Jonah Coleman ended up leaving that game injured. DJ Williams didn't suit up. So we were down, and Wiley has been nicked up throughout the year. So
Boy, he looked good
uh,
though.
yeah, but then you just put all of it on Noah, and Noah had no problem taking the brunt of that weight. And honestly, that score could have been worse. They dropped touchdowns at the end of the half
Oh yeah,
on some balls that he put right on the money when I thought for sure we were going 70 hunting, which I was all for, by the way. Total blood sport. Total. I told you, I was like, I'm going to campaign to get Jed fired if he doesn't go for 70 plus. So I am here to tell you, and I did put it on Twitter that you know what? Probably shouldn't be interested in this guy. He doesn't have the killer instinct, and if you're another school coming looking for a head coach, this is not the place. He doesn't have it.
no,
You don't want this guy. Like, trust me. You could see it. He's a coward. You
yeah.
do not want this guy.
A&M, think about it. I know you hired Elko today,
Yeah,
but
he's gone.
I think the reason you hired Elko is because you took one look at Jed Fish and said, you know what? We're going to be playing Texas next year. And God, we want to blow them out every time we play them. Jed's not your guy. He's not going to do that. He has too much class. Okay. And I understand it. Florida, I know you lost to Florida State. Probably should have won that game. You had every opportunity to do it. Jed Fish probably would have not won it either, right? Because he would have been too nice and would have been seven
Exactly.
guys out. Probably wouldn't have started his quarterback. He would have seen that Travis was out and would have been like, you know what, we got to make this more fair. Let's put our backup in and see what happens.
Plus, did you see the trivia question? Jed Fish didn't even play college football.
That
He
was
can't be
great.
good, dude. He can't be
That
good. There's no way.
that was great because I was sitting there watching it with my dad. We've been through this before. My dad just always has just little quips that are great. And that trivia question came on. I was like, hey, Dad, look at that trivia question. Jed Fish, where do you think he played his college football? He's like, I don't know. Alabama? Like, no, Dad. And then the answer came up, and he'd never played college football. He goes, well, what did he do? I was like, well, he was a tennis player. He's like, tennis is a tough game, but I don't know. Like, Dad, we're talking football here. Like, like I love Jed Fish, but like, we're not going to
Tennis is a
compare
tough
this.
game, dude. I'm not going to argue with Mr. I mean, look, tennis is a tough game.
It is.
Who am I to argue?
And I will say, watching that game with my dad was great. My dad also doesn't like ASU because he knows his bright, bumbling boy went to Arizona. So we were just loving every touchdown. You know, he did keep calling Noah Fajita, which, you know what? I'm all about fajitas, and he was just as hot as some fajitas. So like, I think it's apt. I think it works. Dad, if you want to call Noah Fajita, and he plays like that, please do so. But incredible game, dude. You're right. T-Mac, if it's not for Maserati Marv, and then who's the Texas guy that everybody loves too? Can't remember
Texas
his
guy's
name.
name I'm going to forget. Keon's at Florida State.
Yeah,
There's some other guys, but I mean,
T-Mac's right there.
yeah. And by the way, Riddick, such a breath of fresh air compared to some of the other coverage we've had throughout the year. Now, Mark Jones, I'm good. But Riddick was actually like really nice to have there and like have someone that could actually talk through like player development, like what talent looks like in the NFL, and having him
Yeah,
break down T Mac's game as he's absolutely eviscerating the Sun Devils was fantastic.
just dropping it on them. Yeah,
Yeah, my dad's an ASU guy too, so he texted me at half done when some sort of like Family Guy emoji, and then he was out. So it was a tough one for the Henningsons outside of myself because I'm really the only one, man. It's just me.
he waited
There's
all the
not
way
a
to
lot of.
halftime though, huh?
He did make it till halftime, so yeah, he
Good
did.
on him, dude.
He did tough it out till then. He said, I know. I kind of responded back. I'm like, guys, we're just getting to the good part. Hang in there, because I knew there's a lot of Sun Devils in that chat. I don't think they hung in there. So
No, I think they went on to bigger and better things, other games. You know,
much like the student section, vacated.
Yeah, and I'm a message board watcher, and once that game was out of hand, and I didn't have to pay attention to the game 100%. I was all over that message board, and they all they could say was, "We buy our players." Which, by the way, Sun Devils, I don't know if you caught on yet. That's perfectly legal to do now. They can't believe that Arizona has more funds than ASU. I don't know why they don't know that, but yeah, we have bought our players.
People still say they buy our play. People still say that's like people just keep beating that drum like
Henny,
that's a thing still.
let's think about the source, though.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Goddamn right, we bought T-Mac, dude. It was the best
I know.
investment we've made in years.
I mean, hey, it's a big step up from go back to Mexico. So, yeah, they're just clever. I guess they're just sharp like that.
They are, by the way, they're fully off dilly dilly. They want to know already.
Love that. Love
Yeah,
that for them.
They are also very much on the okay, where's Jed Fish going next? They're definitely pocket watching a little bit, and they're fully
Mhm.
they fully were bought in that he was going to Michigan State. That was never going to happen. They were then bought into like, well, he's going to go to A&M. These are the same fan base that were trashing Arizona 2 years ago with the hire. So
100%.
I love it. I'm a sycophant. I love just sitting there watching them cry. I was there for it. Like 24/7 just gives you access to all the message boards, and I do this every game, especially the last 6 games. Just go on their message board and just see them cry. But none
Sicko. I
better than
love it.
ASU's. It's
Yeah.
terrific. They did just fire their AD as well, and they're blaming him, which that's fair. Ray Anderson's a clown, so
I think they have a claim there. That
yeah,
might be one
that one's fair.
that's actually a dog that can hunt. Yeah, I was like, they might want to chase that one down, but
Yeah. Now this team should be playing in the Alamo Bowl. I'm seeing probably against Oklahoma. And then I think Oklahoma, the spread isn't out officially, but in some
right.
circles, they're giving Oklahoma a 9-point spread. I like that. I'm taking Wildcats
Yeah,
all day, right? At
please
least to
disrespect us.
yeah, please run it up. Say it's going to be plus 14. I don't know, like or minus 14. Like go ahead, like do it. Um, I would put my money on the Wildcats. Do I think they're going to win? Who's to say? They're the hottest team in America right now, dude.
You do think they're gonna
Oh,
win.
I for sure
You
think they're going to win.
I Look, we're full in, dude. Like, I mean, I know
There's
I
no
am. I'll
hiding
say
it.
that, like, I was like measured optimism. Like, I just
Yeah,
don't dive in head first. Like, I've
give us
broken my
Bama,
neck
dude.
before, right? Chasing a Wildcat team, dude. This team, I'm all in. I just 100% believe, like, in every single thing that they're doing. And dude, roll Bama in front of us. I don't care.
Roll damn tide, baby. Put it out in
You know what I
front.
mean?
Let's see
I
what we're
think this
made
is what
of.
I was kind of starting to say last week. Is like I just losing my mind. I'm like, I just think we're real top 10, and like I'll play anybody right now.
Yeah, dude.
And,
Give us
like,
Washington
are we going to
again.
be favored against Georgia? No, but like I would have loved to see Washington again. I'd love to see Oregon. Like, I mean, I would have been
Yeah.
happy to take on all comers at this point. I absolutely believe in this team. They rock, dude.
There's not a more balanced offense out there, I don't think, because this team can run it all over you, especially when all three backs are healthy. Fafita, is he 5'10"? Some will say yes. We can confirm he is probably 5'10".
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, I was texting him after the game. This was the most passing yards he's ever had in a game. So I'm glad to see him do that in, the red, white, and blue. That was cool to see. And when I asked for comment, he said that he just, coaching staff trust him.
Another
He's
win.
just a consummate professional. So,
Another
if
win.
I was no Fafita, I'd be talking some shit though. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because
I think it'll be
again,
him though.
when we signed him, that was another message board I was checking out, the ASU message board, and they were calling him all kinds of names. They're not calling him names anymore. I'll say that for sure. But yeah, dude, this team is just so well balanced. The defense is legit. That defensive line is nasty. How many sacks did they have? Probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, Rashada was running around. He looked confused. I mean, and look, he might end up being all right too. Like some of these guys might end up being okay,
Yeah,
but
for
he
sure.
was
We're
confused.
gonna
He
dump
got
on him, but
chased.
yeah,
It wasn't great, and yeah,
he
defense
looked
looked
he looked like a freshman that hadn't played a game in like 6 weeks.
correct.
Like, look,
Correct.
he's a highly touted quarterback. I'm sure he'll be fine. Didn't look good on Saturday though. The secondary looked phenomenal. Gunnar Maldonado, what a turnaround that guy's had. He was such a liability last year, and then this year he's just been laying the boom all year. Got himself a pick. I thought he was going to take it all the way. I was excited about that. But just every facet of the game, man, they look good. They did miss the kick at one point. Tyler Loop did miss that. What was it, like a 40-yard kick? My dad did want to point that out to me, that every game he's ever watched of Arizona, they never have a kicking game. Because of one game I took him to when I went to U of A and we played Oregon. And I don't know if you remember back in those days, like 2011, 2012, we didn't have a kicker. Seldom teams that do, and I think they missed like 4 kicks that game. So that's just his shtick going on now, just another Wayman Dugan quip that, Arizona doesn't have a kicker. Little does he know Tyler Loop's one of the best ones in the country, but I wasn't about to tell him that. Go off, King.
Sure. I was like, just let Wayman do his thing, man. Like if he's got a bit working, just let him cook. Yeah.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. But it was a fun game to watch, dude. It was really, really gratifying. I was with you though. I was out for blood, wanted the 70-7. And I thought we were going to get it. I think if Cowan catches that touchdown at the end of the first half, Jed goes full Rambo, first blood. But
I agree.
38-7, you chain the dogs back up a little bit.
Well, once Arizona State started running the ball to milk the clock on their side, which is like, by the way, just as tasty, right? Like you're just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna run the clock. I'm like, yeah, you do it for us. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to run the clock. Why don't you do it?
That was another thing on the message board, by the way. They were praying. They were like, all right, we just need to milk the clock. We can't let him get to 70. We can't let him get to 70. I'm like, you guys are such pussies. Like,
yes. So please live in that. Live in that for the rest of time now. Just knowing that at some point, at any point, we can get 70 on you, and just think about that and never sleep again.
Yes, exactly. I don't think it's going to get any better for him either, by the way. And I think going into the Big 12 next year, get ready, Big 12. This team, I think, is going to keep Jed. Rumor on the street is that they are going to make him the highest paid Arizona coach ever. Good. They should. He should keep all his assistants. I think they're trying to increase the assistant pool. I hope that they keep the defensive coordinator, Nansen, because he's completely turned that unit around. But if they keep him, and then they obviously don't lose anybody to the transfer portal that's, I don't want to say worth the shit. They're all worth the shit to me. All right. Proud papa over here. But they don't lose any starters to the transfer portal. I think they're going to run it up next year. Right now, they should be a borderline top 10 preseason pick, I would think, right? Based on the conference they're going to, the team that they have, the way that they finished. The bowl game will have a lot of say in that. If they go out and beat Oklahoma, they're for sure going to be a top 10 pick. And that's just about meeting expectations. Now, luckily, they do have a very, very level-headed quarterback at the helm, which you can attest to. And they got the dogs to do it, man. I don't know. They got the mega playoff next year. Who's to say who gets there first, us or Penn State?
Yeah, give me, dude. If as long as we're bringing back Fafita, Tetaroa, and Manu, I feel really good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Price Hawk.
Yeah, and there's other plenty. We can go on with names and names and names, but I mean, I feel like Fafita is going to be the heart of that offense, and Manu seems to me like every bit the heart of that defense. And as long as those guys are there, I assume they're going to bring in, as well documented. If you're following along with the Cats, like they have certain types and profiles that they're looking for at these positions. It would seem to me that they're very good at not only identifying them, but then also bringing them in. And so now, like, dude, now just like, where's the Kool-Aid, dude? I'll drink it all right now.
Yeah.
I'll guzzle it in front of you. So yeah, I think, as you mentioned, if they go play well in the Alamo and show themselves well in Oklahoma, then there's no reason to think that they're not coming back as a top 15, top 10 type of unit, given that the transfer portal and some recruiting goes just even, well.
They are going to lose some guys. Your boy Jordan Morgan, like we said before, he's graduating. That's a big loss because he's probably like top 3 left tackle in the Pac-12. RIP. Which, by the way, before I keep going, wasn't it so weird and like gross? The Pac-12 eulogize, like, how do you say the word, eulogizing itself?
Yeah,
we'll
saying it right.
Yeah, eulogizing itself the whole game.
Googling?
You Googleizer.
Yeah.
That was just awkward. It was so weird. Oh, this is the last Pac-12 weekend ever. Like, yeah, they did it themselves. They committed suicide. Like, let's
And then,
chill.
and then of course, like ESPN and classic ESPN, like doesn't even really know what's going on. They're like, you're gonna miss rivalries like this. I'm like, we literally play them next year. Like we're gonna play them. Like they're literally like we threw them in the trailer and we're dragging their ass to the Big 12. Like they can't help but like follow us. So, yeah, I just love that ESPN never knows. But you're right. The Pac-12 doing their own eulogy was interesting to say the
Yeah,
least.
super weird.
I guess that's what you do. I don't really know what you should have done, but it was just like
Just
weird
trying to
and
save face at the last minute, I guess.
yeah, and like I don't even know where these checks go. I'm like, are they still going to Larry Scott? Like, is that what's going
Apparently, they're
on?
going to Oregon State and Washington State now. I don't know if you saw that. They won
We have to
that
like buy, yeah,
lawsuit.
'cause they won that lawsuit, so we have to like buy them out, I guess. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know, whatever.
enjoy the money. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know where those
yeah,
two teams go. That'll be interesting to
I
watch.
don't know, but I did watch like Stanford. I mean, I was taking it all in. I will say, like, I'm watching Cal Stanford, and I'm like, these are two respectable programs. I got to get my eyes on this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss it, dude. I will miss it. I will say
yeah.
that, like, for whatever it is, better or worse, I think we're going to a better place, and I think it was the move we had to make, and we talked about that a million times.
Hmm.
But I'll miss Pac-12 after dark, man. There's like no doubt about it.
Yeah.
For good or for bad, whatever, I'll miss it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what we grew up with. It's what a lot of people grew up with. I do agree with what they said in the eulogy about, oh, these are where some of the best athletes win, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, for sure. Gronk, a bunch of guys, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. You can go further back. Guys went to UCLA. Marcus
OJ Simpson
Mariota.
was good at football once.
Yeah, he's good at a few things. I won't say the other ones, but some has to do with white women, but we
They
won't
went
go
with
there.
they went with Marcus Allen. I saw as the USC throwback in the eulogy. They're like,
Why'd they do that?
and greats, like, and I'm like, who's the best USC running back? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marcus Allen, Reggie Bush, and some
Uh,
other guy.
but yeah, going into the Big 12 next year, I think Colorado will be a little bit better, which you and I will talk about here in a bit. Utah will rebound. Cam Rising's back for like his 18th year.
Yeah,
Just one of those guys, the new Brandon Whedon. ASU probably won't be better, but they're coming along, kicking and screaming, like you said. And then I think the rest of the Big 12 will probably rebound a little bit, right? Because they got the talent pool
I
in
think so.
Texas. So we'll see. Oklahoma State, they won their game against BYU, just a real nail biter. Can't wait for those kinds of games. The fact that we get to see Mike Gundy every year now,
In the flesh. Yeah,
sign me up. Like,
yeah,
cannot wait, dude. So there's a lot of things. We got to play Baylor. The jokes will write themselves.
they write
Can't wait
themselves.
for
They
that.
do.
But Colorado, real quick, because you and I were texting about this.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer. I don't think Colorado is going to be that much better next year. And the reason I say that is just based on what Dion is saying about, we're not what do you say? We're not an ATM. We're not going to give out big checks, blah, blah,
sure.
blah. And I get that. And I'm sure that he will do well in recruiting, though it is already starting to backfire on him because a lot of recruits are calling his bluff saying, I don't think you're going to be there the whole time I'm there, which great job deducing
There's a
that because he's
problem
not
for
going to
sure.
be. Yeah, they just lost a highly touted quarterback because of that. But if he's not willing to like play the transfer portal game, he's very he's misunderstanding the game then, because that is how teams are built nowadays. Look at Arizona, rebuilt their trenches in the transfer portal. Look at Oregon, right? They did great there. Look at, I mean, SC is a poor example because they have a bad coach, and I will stand firm on that. But they hit it
Oh,
hard, you know.
hmm,
Just look at all these teams they're doing well, and they hit the portal hard. So if you're already saying that's not going to be a big part of your strategy, I don't think you're going to do that well right away. And then with him, I think he is going to leave within the next couple years. I'm surprised he's not going to A&M already, but he'll probably go somewhere in the SEC. Um, I think Colorado's not going to be as great as people think.
yeah. So you sent me a message. It's kind of like, haha, whatever, Colorado, which like it wasn't that was like your only opinion. It was just kind of like one of those, we're back sending stuff back and forth. And then I'm like, yeah, haha, Colorado. But I do think like in some of the points you made there, right? If he is truly missing the mark and understanding of like the games that he should be playing, that's a different problem. what I was trying to say to you, and you know this, but just to share with like our listeners, um, if it's not just the money game, I mean, I still don't think, despite what Arizona State fans may say, that Arizona's just dumping money all over the place. There are
Right.
certain guys that have made some money here and gotten some NIL deals. Certainly, that is the case. But it's not as if everybody's backing up the truck for every single player that we have, and we have a lot of guys that are frankly just guys and weren't on the radar and weren't on draft boards. You're sending we're now every single guy we have is a prospect, right? Those guys weren't those guys when they showed up.
Right.
That wasn't the name that we were led to believe. It wasn't like we brought in all these big name guys. We just had guys that maybe didn't have the opportunity. And to that point, I just think that if Dion truly has the juice that we're led to believe, if he's really going to be a candidate for these other jobs, then I assume that he's going to be able to bring kids in and he's going to be able to win on this level. Now he might not, but I don't think it's going to be strictly because he doesn't have the NIL money. I guess
Yeah.
like that's where I would put it. If he misidentifies like what the game is altogether, having guys call him out on whether he's going to be around. But I'm telling you, like if he's at Colorado, he's going to be stuck at Colorado if he can't get guys. Because I mean, that's how you win. I don't care who you are. This is a player-driven thing. Like you just don't win without dudes, plain and
Yep.
simple. So if he can't get guys, that's a whole nother problem. But I think he can. And if like I just have a hard time believing like all that momentum we saw, all the success at Jackson State, everything we saw like kind of building up and the hype around it. And I just think like a really good like vibes and feeling around like what Dion was doing. I think if he can carry that over, he's still going to get guys, and I think he's going to win at a higher level than he did this year.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I could be
hey,
wrong.
he won 4 games. So I'm not saying that he's a bad coach or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, right? Won 4 games with a brand new roster. If his son stays, both of his sons, because I think Shiloh's a damn good safety too. If they both stay and develop, which I think they're fully capable of doing, I could see them winning 6 or 7 games next year. I just don't think it's going to be what people want it to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree with you there. I mean, I was thinking that at the beginning of this season. That's why
So
me
was
and you
I.
were having
Yeah.
so much fun throwing the sunglasses on because Ben was actually getting worked up, and I'm like, Ben, like it's not gonna work out, dude. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't just snap your fingers and go from like one of the worst programs in D1 to winning 10 and 11 games. You're
Yeah.
not Jed Fish, dude. Like it doesn't happen. Okay, um, it just doesn't happen, dude.
No.
But it can apparently.
Apparently. And hopefully it continues to happen.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
else we're gonna look real dumb. But
yeah, yeah.
it is what it is. I'm excited about the Big 12. College football as a whole, though, right? Like some big, meaningful games happened this weekend. Washington squeaked by in the Apple Cup,
Mm-hmm.
which they do not look promising. I think this Pac-12 championship game has some real potential to just mess everything up for the Pac-12. Because I could very much see Oregon going in because they looked phenomenal, by the way, against Oregon State.
Yep.
Bo Nix, my God. I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, right? Because people saw Bo Nix at Auburn and him kind of blowing games on the road and whatever, right? I think he's developed a lot. I
He was
think
just doing his job as an Auburn quarterback in his defense. That's
yes,
what Auburn quarterbacks do.
you're just
Create
fitting in,
chaos.
just fitting in. Yeah,
Creating chaos in any direction.
I think though he did a phenomenal job developing. He looked good last year, had the bad game against Oregon State last year. This year, though, left nothing to be questioned. Like he is dangerous with his feet. He's got a cannon arm. That one throw that he did sidearmed across his body was insane. I think he is a real top talent for the NFL. And the way that Oregon is playing, they have not slowed down at all recently. Whereas Washington has like kind of gone undefeated, kicking and screaming the last
Yeah.
few weeks. And I think if Oregon goes in there and wins, there's no way the committee throws them into the playoff. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, I think so. A couple things here. I mean, one, in the last Apple Cup, having the Cougs cooged it is like hilarious, right? The Cougs gonna coog, being that common refrain on Twitter every time Washington State was falling apart. And to have them do that in their last game, chef's kiss, couldn't ask for more. Um, just like, Cal beating UCLA to send them to the Big Ten, also hilarious. Cal they suck. They haven't been good in so long. For them to beat UCLA in that last game, hilarious. But then to your
And Chip
point,
keeps
yeah,
his job, by
Washington.
the way.
Yeah, and then Chip keeps his job somehow because I don't know why, but he just did, and that's fine. Like whatever. I guess maybe he has a really good plan for the Big Ten. So that's all interesting. But then to your point, yeah, I don't think Washington has looked good. I think you guys sort of earmarked that like very early in the season that hey, there's a struggle, and my rebuttal was just like, well, all they have to do is just keep winning though. Like if they just hold serve, like they're fine. And we're gotten all the way to this point. The Pac-12 is right on the precipice of being in the playoff for the first time in a long time. And you know what they're going to do. You know what's going to happen. Like
They're going to just self-cannibalize. Yeah, dude.
yeah,
They do it every year.
This is what happens, man. So
can't have nice things.
Oregon has to absolutely smash them, right? Like they have to
That's
destroy
what it's
them.
looking like. Yeah.
Like and they maybe can because they look really good.
I think they definitely can.
Yeah, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, and like other things can happen this weekend still as well. Iowa's going to be on the slate. There's going to be a weird over/under bet to be had in that Michigan game, and there's so much that happened in college football. It's insane.
Let's do it really quick, dude.
I'm kind of like trying to dart everywhere.
That Iowa game, that Iowa-Nebraska game, I watched that with my dad, and I think it took him back in time a little bit. I think he really enjoyed it.
He's like, this is good football.
My dad's 85, and I think he's like, well, goddamn, let's do it, boys. Let's take me back to the 50s here and watch just a bunch of people running the ball and definitely not doing any kind of forward passing.
You got to get him one of those punch shirts the guys were wearing. Those guys ruled, by the way.
It was absolutely hilarious that Brian Ferentz was on the sidelines. He's already been fired. He's just waiting it out, and he's not wearing any Iowa gear. Like he's wearing a Carhartt beanie and a plain black sweater. And I'm just like, this guy's just fully embracing the hate right now. Like he's calling the most boring game in the world, not wearing any of the colors. He's just saying, fuck you, dad. Like I loved it, dude. And what a game. Like coming down, Nebraska having a real shot at upsetting Iowa, if you want to call that an upset. Just clash of the Titans when it comes to offense. And
Chase.
Yeah, that text I showed you what he said, but just go fuck yourself. Dude, did you think it was going to end any other way, Chase? That's what I want to know. Like, did you?
There was no other result that could happen. That was like the only result that was possible. It was unbelievable they still hit the under, by the way.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. At 23.5, they still did it.
You and Ben were like celebrating at the very I don't even know if you want to call it celebrating, but just like in just awe that they were going to hit the over. And I was
it went into overtime. We're like, there's no way they can survive this. Even an Iowa under could not survive this. College overtime is chaos. It's forcing you to score points. Everybody scores in college football overtime.
Well, Ben was celebrating at halftime because Nebraska hit the big shot, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's happening!"
Yeah,
and then it just came to a halt.
Yep.
Just exactly what we knew was going to happen. And then Chuba Purdy just shits all over himself in overtime. And what a beautiful game that gets played on Saturdays,
Incredible.
And we're here for it, dude. Iowa does have an incredible defense, though, by the way. Like they always do.
Yeah, they do.
They're going to get absolutely pummeled by Michigan. Michigan looks very, very good.
They have to get pummeled by. I mean, Michigan has to. Yes. They have to dismantle Iowa. I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy because both teams will be trying to run the clock out from the start of that thing, like 100%. It is going to be Big Ten football. Nothing will change, but you would expect Michigan to control most of that. It'll probably look a lot like that Penn State game. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan just throws the ball 10 times and is like, we can just beat you like this. Like if you just want to play ground and pound, we'll just do it better, and we'll just take it to you like that, like men. We're gonna be and dude, and how hilarious though, all this stuff, everything they could try to do to keep Jim Harbaugh out of the stadium, out of this game, uninvolved. And Ryan Day, look at you now. Now they're coming for your children. Dude, they're coming to your house right now. Ohio State, there's some weirdo parked out in your lawn. I mean, and I can't believe it went that way for Ohio State. And like if Ohio State fans have to be like just completely losing their minds. I know a
Ryan
few,
Day,
and
Ryan
they
Day
seem
could
like they're
still
losing
get
their mind.
fired, by the way.
I know he
Yeah.
hasn't though yet.
Well, there's still a little bit of hope that I think a lot has to happen, right? Like we said, Oregon has to beat Washington. Then the committee has to go, well, we fucking hate the Pac 12. Like we know that they will, right?
Yeah,
Texas has to beat Oklahoma State, which they should for
they
sure.
should do that. Oklahoma State
Crazier
was
things have
not
happened,
very good, I don't think,
right?
but it's fine. Yeah,
Florida State has to beat, is it still Louisville, even though Louisville lost?
it's a good question. I'll look that up while you continue.
Well, Florida
Can't
State
remember.
still has to win, which without Jordan Travis, good luck. You look like trash against a bad Florida team. Um, so I guess Ohio State could still sneak in.
Still
And
Louisville.
if that, yeah, well, Louisville had a bad game against Kentucky, but they're a good team. Um, if Ohio State sneaks in, Ryan Day's okay. He's not going to get fired. Um, they played great in the playoff last year. If they don't make it though, there's a distinct chance that just for men stocks will plummet because he will not have a job. Maybe Dion goes there. Dion at Ohio State. I could see it. That'd be lightning in a bottle.
Dude, all the Ohio State fans are just pumping up Urban Meyer again, man. Like I'm telling you right now, they're just all tweeting like, "There's one man for this job," and like the only other option I think for them is the sweater vest. Like, I mean, they they have no room because like they're not like Ohio State. If they're not careful, can find themselves right into the Nebraska Tom on like I mean, look, Ohio State's going to be fine, and I know they'll be fine because there's so much money there. They're an absolute football machine. But
Yeah.
it is like that dangerous little slope when you start getting so crazy, you get a little out over your skis, and you can't like be patient, and then you just keep trying to hire this new guy, the next guy, the next guy, the
You
next
get the
guy.
Auburnitis.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. Like you get that little rash, that itch. That can be real problematic if you keep scratching that thing. So be careful
Yeah.
what you do there, Ohio State. But I don't blame him for like absolutely wanting to lose their mind. And I've got a father-in-law who's a Michigan guy, a Michigan alum, and he is, dude. He could not have been happier. And you could feel the extra angst with the cheating stuff because he's a pretty mild-mannered guy, but he had no problems firing off about 75 texts about how happy he was about this Michigan win. So go blue.
I will say though, and I hope your father-in-law doesn't take this the wrong way. I'm so fucking tired of all the Michigan fanatics and players saying it's Michigan against everyone. Like, shut the
Bet,
hell up. Like, stop. Your
bet.
coach is a cheater. He loves milk too much. Just knock it off. You know. Um Bama. Bama could sneak in. I mean,
Well, in Auburn, come on, dude.
Russian 3 when it is what, 4th and 30?
Auburn,
Goddamn.
Auburn. What was going on, dude?
It's good when it
Incredible.
works, but Auburn, you guys do this a lot. Like, the Iron Bowl, you guys have had some phenomenal memories. You're gonna hold those forever. Can't take those away. This one you need to flush down the toilet because goddamn. I mean, I will say, Milrow, incredible pass to the corner. Like,
Oh,
holy
absolute
shit.
strike. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like,
that
damn.
play looks rather routine, honestly. The part that was crazy is that it was 4th and 30 after they snapped the ball over their head minutes ago, or whatever. That was the crazy part. Like the talent's there, but yeah, that call it, dude. This is. I know we say this all the time, but I just had so much more fun watching college football, and it's like not even close. Like to the point when I like turn on the games on Sunday,
Mhm.
I think I'm actually depressed, like at what I'm watching. Like I'm like, this sucks. Like this is like soul sucking, awful. Like, take me back to Saturday, dude. Take me back to Farmageddon. Give me the snow. Give me Iowa State and Kansas State. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm going full Big 12 now, dude. Like I'm like, I
You're
love,
indoctrinated,
I love
dude.
truck
Yeah.
stops, dude. Dude, shoot me on the 10, bro. Uh, I'll find me some fun. Like I just had so much fun watching college football this weekend, and you'll bring up another one, Louisville, whatever game, and it just like goes on and on and on, and like I just can't think of anything like better to do with your Saturday late in fall.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Do you want to do it? You want to just go full in and talk about the NFL real quick?
Yeah, we got to talk about it. And obviously, like, people know that we're fans and we played each other, so we have to at least cover the game.
It was the jump shots from the goal line bowl. Okay, it says jump shots bowl there for the sake of
I wish
easiness.
it was a bowl game. It would have had some fun pageantry. Maybe like a weird mascot, like a giant Nabisco chip or something out there. You know what I mean? Like
I
that.
didn't even
That
see
sounds
Boltman, by the
fun.
way. I didn't
It
even see
wasn't fun.
Boltman. Where was he to be had?
I don't know. He might have been replaced by that girl who's a Vikings fan turned Charger fan.
Yeah, the Korean woman for
We have a
sure.
new super fan, so
You and I
Boltman
were
might be out.
you and I were texting during this game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should say Hesse's the one that started it. By initially asking us if we were going to still be friends during that game. I think we only
Yeah.
grew closer. It's like,
Yeah, I think we're
goddamn, like that game was brutal to watch from both ends.
Yeah, we were far worse, and I knew we sucked. So I will say too. So I was definitely like poking Dugan a little bit, and like this team still got problems. And I will say, like, I don't even know if these teams have problems. I just like wanted like if we're going to suck and we're going to lose, I'm like, just beat the hell out of us. Like, then let me see Lamar. Let me see like some passing down the field. Let me see something exciting from this Ravens team. And the defense looked really good. So I do think you should feel good about that part. Although I will say that you probably got to see up and close that those Chargers weapons aren't exactly what people make them out to be, especially without Palmer and Williams.
Listen, dude,
Given
Jalen
that
Guyton's electric.
yeah, Jalen Guyton is a very painful watch as a number two, steady number two in this offense. As Quentin Johnson retreats further and further into his shell post drop. Dude, we suck. Like, we just suck. Like, we are bad.
Yeah, you're not good. This was like the
We're
first.
not good.
This was like the first Chargers game that I really took in depth. Right? I mean, I watched Red Zone. I see you guys out there trying your best. Keenan Allen's good, very
Yeah,
good.
he's still good. Yeah,
he does things that I think earn him his spot in fantasy for sure. Justin Herbert tries hard. I'll give him that when he's not running for his life. What happened to your left tackle, by the way? Like, wasn't he like rookie year just setting the world on fire? I know he had the injury. He was doing him like Herbert no favors, and neither was the rest of your
well,
line.
we also have a system where we allow edge pressure without any sort of acknowledgement or plan. Like, there's nothing like seeing your quarterback, and I don't know how it's been broken down, but I can just tell you that those receivers aren't even turning their head. Like, they're like, "Hey, I know that pressure just crossed my face, but there's nothing I can do to side adjust to this. There's nothing me. This isn't my job. Someone's going to take care of that. I'm just going
What
to
Eckler's
aimlessly
there
run
for?
my route like a Madden player, like an asshole out here. I cannot believe how inept and stupid we look frequently.
Yeah,
Which it just seemed like the Ravens knew that they could just dial it up like just enough as needed with how stupid we were. But I, from my perspective, as like kind of flipping it the other way, was just like hoping to see like this really good Ravens team.
yeah,
And what I saw is what I've been suspecting is that you throw a lot of balls behind the line of scrimmage and slants. And I'm like, this is gross. And I hate this offense every bit as I've ever hated it. I don't know. It just didn't give me anything to be excited about. And I could be, maybe I just don't watch enough Ravens football, but I was
Let me
like,
tell
dude,
you.
this is not it.
Let me tell you, that is not our week in, week out offense. I will say that. Okay. Me and my Twitter group chat were
Yeah.
discussing that quite frequently. Like, what the fuck is this offense? Because you're right. It was a lot of, hey, wouldn't it be a good idea? I know we're having a hard time keeping Khalil Mack to themselves. All right. I know we're letting him in a lot. All right.
Yeah.
But what if we did this? What if we just put Zay Flowers in a bubble screen and just let him go? Just let him go. Maybe we'll throw Odell back there a little bit. Got the cameras here. We're in prime time.
Yeah,
Get
you
him
should
a little
definitely give him some
action.
touches before he loses his shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then look, I know Rashad Bateman hasn't been phenomenal this year, but why don't we get him some shine too? Throw him in a bubble screen. There's a lot of that. And when we weren't doing that, we are like, you know what else is really, really cool? Why don't we just give the ball to Gus Edwards and just run it straight up the middle? They'll never suspect that. But when they do, why don't we just do a quick, to the left We'll do a quick like. I know. Khalil Mack has been dangerous all night. I get it. We won't block him though. We'll just run away from him. I don't think he's quick enough anymore to like catch our guys, especially Gus Edwards. He runs a 4.4, right? Definitely not like a 4.8. No, but we'll just screen or not screen, but toss left. They won't catch him. That was our offense all night, and nothing was more apparent of that than when who was it? Nelson Aguilar definitely got a first down. I think we can all agree to that. Got that first down. They gave us, what was it, 3rd and 1?
I agree to that as soon as you agree to the Justin Herbert late hit.
Look, it's a tough game.
It's a penalty on the Chargers to boot. I wanted to turn it off and leave right there. I was like, all right, I see what's going. I was like, I see what's going on today, and I want no part of this.
That was the funniest sequence of events ever. Was like they throw the flag. I'm like, oh shit, Geno Stone, late hit. They're gonna be right up on the goal line. No, turns out, no late hit at all. Chargers actually moved before the play. We're gonna go ahead and let Herbert take a lick. We know his middle finger is just torn to shreds, but late hit, whatever. Back it up 15. Move back to San Diego. That's what happened there. Yeah, they were trying to take you back to San Diego. That's what that was.
I wish.
But going back to my play, like Aguilar for sure first down. Everybody and their mother saw it, except Harbaugh. He did not challenge the spot. And when questioned about that, he said, "Well, we just operated like they did give us a first down, and they threw a bubble screen." I have 2 questions. How the fuck are we operating like they gave us a first down? They either did or they didn't.
Yeah.
2.
That is an amazing statement, dude. That is amazing.
2. That's your first down call is a goddamn bubble screen every time. Like the Chargers know that. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore, bro. Like you hear me on this podcast every week. Like I'll have weeks where I'm like, okay, Harbaugh's okay. We can keep him. But more often than not, I'm up on this fucking microphone saying, what is Harbaugh really doing? And that was like the perfect example of what I've been trying to tell you all year. That's the kind of shit he's been doing all year. We're operating like it was a first down.
It was tough,
what the
dude.
fuck does that mean? And then just, if it wasn't for the defense, you guys probably would have blown us out. But the defense was spectacular.
I swear, though, dude, I think I was equally mad at the Ravens as I was the Chargers. I was like, dude, come on. I was like, just like end us, dude. Like, I don't even want to watch this game. I know how it ends. Like, I see where this is going. Like, there's no way we're winning this game. We're featuring Jalen Guyton, bro. Like, there's no freaking way. This guy is supposed to run like one sail route a week for you. And that's it. And if you hit him on it, cool. You did your job, but that's it. This guy should not be featured in an offense. This is unbelievable. This roster, people don't want to hear about this anymore. But here, Hesse, for you, the Jets still suck. But by God, do the Chargers also suck? Suck it, LA Chargers. Suck it, Jets.
Nothing. Real quick though, before we move on,
because
I know you were thinking the same thing.
I
know you were thinking the same thing. And I know you've been telling me this all season. Well, what a goddamn ass clown Gerald Everett is. Number one.
Oh, my God.
He's out there looking like goddamn Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way with his visor. Scores a touchdown and does the Ray Lewis dance. Like, who is this guy? Like, didn't see him the whole game.
I'm telling you,
after the touchdown. But he thinks he is like the best guy in the world.
I can list about 3,000 guys that can be productive as a tight end in this offense, and I'd have him at 3,001. Like him and Parham, I'm telling you, Parham Jr. is the exact guy who watches the blitzer cross his face because he's not a tight end. He's a glorified tight end, wide receiver who wants no contact. I know you've made the argument that he took a shot. Yeah, again, cut his ass then. I want someone who's not afraid to take a shot on an NFL field. Sorry, it's going to be physical out there. Although I do see more and more too. This is just a random side thought, but I do see more and more that these guys are continuing to get these a lot of now they're fined or now they're suspended. There's a lot of contact they're taking out of this league. Which is I'm pro safety, so I guess. But it is kind of crazy. Some of these hits just look clean to me, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're supposed to do in some of these positions. So It's interesting that the defenses are still holding up and still look good, and that we see as little offense as we do, given the way they're asked to be played. I mean, I just that's what's infuriating to me. I'm just like, I don't know how we don't score more points. I mean, even if it is Jalen Guyton out there, but you see the slow Eckler, Guyton, blah blah. We suck.
Your coach sucks, by the way.
Sucks. Total dweeb loser. He needs to be
His
fired.
interview going into halftime was laughable. Him like smirking at the fact that when you guys got that little trick play off, like the little
Yeah,
backyard football, him just like smiling so big because he finally got a play to work.
yeah.
He
That Kellen Moore
sucks.
called that, dude. Kellen Moore drew that up. Like that's not even. That's the thing. That's not him. I mean,
That did
sure, he
break
had.
my brain though, I will say.
It was very cool. Like that was very cool. I mean,
Need more of
and
that.
and hey, dude, if you suck, if you're featuring Jalen Guyton, probably should run that play multiple times a game, and I wouldn't even like fault you for it. Like whatever, you got to try something. This team is just so bad, and
4 and
like we
7, dude.
do not look creative or fun to play for, and Herbert looks more and more miserable and sad faced by the week. I just can't stand watching this team play. And then, like, what a treat is I continue to think, like, how great is the NFL? I turned it on tonight, and both quarterbacks just fumble 17 times. It's like unbelievable. Just, it's just not, dude. I'm telling you, it is soul sucking for me to watch the NFL right now. I do it for you people. I do it for the podcast. No, it's the only reason I'm watching because I absolutely hate this league at the moment, and I have so much more fun watching anything else. I might become a hockey guy, Ben. Don't give up.
The Thanksgiving games were brutal. Jared Goff decided to be Jared Goff again. Um, I, I was sitting there in the living room with my 85-year-old dad and all his old ass friends from the 55 and older group that they live at.
Yeah.
And they all know that Jared Goff sucks, which was appalling. I couldn't believe it. And they said,
Credit to
isn't
them.
this kind of tradition that the Lions just lose on like Thanksgiving? And I was like, yes. Yes, it is.
It
And
is.
I had plenty of people come and be like, I thought the Lions were good this year. And I said, I thought so too. I thought so
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
But this is what they do. They just don't play well on Thanksgiving. That was not a fun game to watch. Just no ingenuity at all on offense, letting the Packers do whatever the hell they want. And of course, this is what happens when, your boy here drops Jordan Love in fantasy.
Correct.
He just goes on a tear. So you're
Oh,
welcome, Green Bay. You're
it
welcome. It
makes
was
you feel
because
any
of me.
better. I stared on the waiver wire Jordan at Christian Watson all morning, going like, I just think he's going to do it today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he's just going to do
Mm-hmm.
it today, isn't he? And did I pick him up? No, I didn't. I just left him right there on the wire as he stood. So if it makes you feel any better, I felt just a fool.
Yeah, and then the rest of the games, Cowboys just absolutely wiped the floor of the Commanders, as is tradition, right?
Yes.
And then 49ers,
Cowboys love beating bad teams, dude. Like they're the best against bad teams.
so good. Like
Dude,
that's their Super Bowl.
so good at beating bad teams.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why they're going to suck in the playoffs, like every year.
Because unfortunately the playoffs brings some good teams.
Sometimes, most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
49ers beat the brakes off the Seahawks. I think that dream is finally over. So Tyler, rest your eyes. The Seahawks are bad again. Sorry. And then Dolphins absolutely annihilate the Jets. I'll tell you this about that game. Got done watching the Nebraska Iowa game, okay, because that was on Friday, right? I
Yep.
believe.
Yeah.
Watched that whole game. Didn't fall asleep once. Okay, had some turkey, whatever. Had the whole experience. The moment that Jets Dolphins game came on, made it through about a quarter, and then I fell asleep. Couldn't handle it. I could not handle watching the Jets do it. And I know we already kind of gave Hesse some stick already, but dude, your team fucking sucks. Like removing Zach Wilson was not the issue. It is just overall your team fucking sucks. And again,
And
another
you
team really good at beating bad teams, by the way, the Dolphins.
And if you want to be our number one listener and be in Hesse's position, we can tell you your team fucking sucks. So just, hit us up on socials and let us know who your favorite team is so we can name you by name and tell you that your team also sucks.
Yeah. The rest
They
of the slate
probably do.
on Sunday, equally as brutal. Steelers, Bengals. was about as shitty as you could imagine. Another fight in Steelers country breaking out. Deontay Johnson has no desire to be in Pittsburgh anymore, and I think no receiver does. Can't blame him either.
That's tough, man.
Yep. Jaguars beat the Texans. Texans a lively bunch though, like we've been saying. They're a fun team. I like watching them. CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is working harder than anybody to keep Ryan Day's job.
Yeah, and you know why he's fun is because he just got out of college. He doesn't have the NFL stank.
Yeah, still got that new car smell. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He still thinks it's Saturday.
Yeah, for sure.
Patriots Giants. Tommy DeVito just keeps doing it, baby. Living with his parents one night, slaying the Patriots the other. Mac Jones, my God, what a miserable quarterback he is.
Yeah, I think it's our time we just call him McCorkle.
Yeah.
Let's just call him what he is, okay? He was never really a Mac. It was a nice try. You almost fooled us. You're a freaking McCorkle, dude.
Yeah.
And we can see it now.
Your
McCorkle is showing. It's pretty clear.
Bailey Zappi, also not the answer. The only thing I know about Zappi is they make really good chips. Okay. Have you ever had those?
Oh, yeah. Those are great chips.
The little kettle cooked Johns. Yeah, those are good.
Yes, those are from Louisiana.
Yeah. I'm sure Tasty could tell us all about them. They are delicious.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but I know exactly which ones you're talking about. Give me some voodoo heat or whatever.
Yes. Those are it. Not a good quarterback. Great chip, though.
Really great chip. Oh, yeah. They're actually, that might be the best potato chip
in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
that might be the Tom Brady of potato chips for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Tim's in the Northwest, but yeah, I think I'm with you on the Zappy, Zappo, whatever they are. I still don't even know. I'll trust
it's cursive. It's tough,
It is.
So. Yeah, the one with the Z. The Panthers Titans miserable game, 17-10. Rams destroyed the Cardinals, but guess what? For fantasy purposes, it was awful because Puka Nacua nothing. And then, oh boy, again, nothing. So, terrible game to watch. Browns lost to the Broncos. Broncos are kind of on a tear. Does that infuriate you a little bit?
Way worse, dude. Yes, because now all the tweets are pouring in of all the Chargers had to do is give up a first-round pick. That first-round pick now looks like Quentin Johnston because that's who it was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we could have had an adult in the room, and apparently now Denver is fine. Which this is what this is what's frustrating. If you just sort of learn to manage these NFL games and have the experience to do it, you can win them. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be sexy. In fact, it's going to be quite boring. I don't think anybody watching the Broncos is feeling oh God, this is the most amazing. No, they're just good enough, dude. They're just playing a professional football game. They manage the game well and they've been winning. So it drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
It's hell on earth.
That sucks, dude. Chiefs, they keep winning. They beat a shitty Raiders team. So their schedule
were up.
Yeah, they sure were.
Gave a fight.
Still not a good team, I don't think. Chiefs. I
don't think who's a good team in this. That's what this is what's
I think the two best teams played this weekend. Bills and the Eagles. That game was electric.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
The Bills might have missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. Josh Allen still doesn't look great to me. He has moments of brilliance, but he has a lot of stinkers too. I think he is part of the problem. Eagles, though, they do this every week. They start out kind of hot, and then they kind of fall asleep. Philadelphia starts rioting. They start throwing batteries at Santa Claus, and then they win. And all is right in the world. So Eagles look great. Bills might not make the playoffs, like you said. I think they are what? Let's look at that record really quick.
They're 6-6 now, I think.
6-6.
And and I just think in the AFC you're going to have to win. I mean, at least 9 for sure, but probably 10, and to just they have a tough schedule still.
Yeah, so I mean, Dolphins are winning that division for sure, right?
Yeah.
Then the rest of the AFC. I mean, the Browns and the Bengals are both kind of out of it now. They don't have quarterbacks. Steelers keep winning, though. So I hate that team. They're the worst team in the NFL to watch, but they're right there in it. Texans look good. Jags look good. Who else? Who else is in the
They got the
goddamn
Chiefs and the
landscape?
Cowboys the next 2 weeks. Neither
You
of
said
those
the
games is a
Broncos.
walk in the park. I mean, yeah,
Broncos
that's
are
what I'm.
winning.
Yeah, so it's just tough, man. Like they still have the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs on their schedule
Yeah, they're not
at
making the
minimum.
playoffs. There's
You know
no
what I
way.
mean? So the idea of them winning like 3 of those, like I mean, that's a lot to ask. Yeah, they might be in trouble, man. And to your point, they might be one of the better teams, but they might have waited a little too long to get it together.
Yeah, but NFL continues not to be great. So
I
I don't
know.
know. I
I
still love
want to
it.
like it, dude. Like I want to like it, but it's hard right now.
Well, college football is coming to a close, so you're only going to have really one option anyway. So I'm sure you'll fall back in love with your ex and buy her some flowers and treat her right here soon. And she'll just end up breaking your heart anyway. So
Yeah, we'll try. We'll
we've all
try.
been down that road, you know.
I think I'm just gonna again college basketball. I'm just gonna be a hoops guy, dude. I've always been a hoops guy. Like who we kidding? College football. God, I love college football, but yes, more of this, more bear down, more of like these kids doing this thing on the
Yeah.
screen,
Like I said, dude.
which I just refuse to do, by the way. But
Yeah, it's a
unless
weird one.
mockingly, but
Yeah.
it's not a good look when you're doing that to your face. But what a game, dude!
Yeah, this team continues to look like probably the best team in college basketball, right? They have beaten Michigan State, they have beaten Duke, they have not looked like they struggled with anybody, right? Great shooters, athletes, plays solid defense. They have a big game coming up. I believe we play Purdue here pretty soon, don't we?
Yeah, we do have Purdue coming up on the schedule. We got Wisconsin coming up on the schedule. So look, we ain't running from nobody. We're playing everybody. So you're going to know exactly who we are and what you're getting from us.
Yep.
I think this is a team that you have to pay attention to now because of the schedule. And I
Yep.
think we're going to learn a lot more about this team in the early season than maybe what we learn as we go through the Pac-12 schedule, because I think there's only going to be a few teams that are even sort of worthy of an Arizona test. Although I'm sure you'll have that curious game where for some reason you lose to Utah or you're on the road at
Colgate.
Colorado or whatever. Something shows up. Yeah, like Dana gets you with his zone or whatever. Um, all of that's ahead of them, but they look really, really good so far. They absolutely deserve to be every bit of the conversation. They moved up to number 2 in the country. And I thought Michigan State is always a good test, man. Like they
Yeah.
did exactly what I expect Michigan State's teams to
Izzo
do,
team.
which is like muck it up. Like they
Yep.
make it a physical game. They beat you, and we had some guys that were in foul trouble. They definitely put some pressure on our bigs. I think we did see that like they're going to have to match the test. That'll be probably like if there is a weakness, I think that's something that teams are going to push us on. But ultimately, as you mentioned, like they passed the test, they won, and that's like what they're tasked to
Continue
do,
to
and that's
do.
what they did. That's
Yep.
all you can do, right?
You
Beat
can
who's in
beat you in a
front of
lot
you.
of ways. Yep. Johnson looked great. He's a gamer.
Yes,
Um, the guards, like I've been saying, dude, like if one's not playing great, the other one is, Boswell or Love. So just a really well balanced team.
agree.
Never been happier to be a Wildcat fan. I mean, both
It's so
teams
fun right now.
just killing the game. And this schedule coming up is only going to be so much fun. We have a whatever game against Colgate on Saturday. Got to play the toothpaste brand.
Out of New
See what they're
York,
all
by the
about.
way. I don't know if you knew that. I had to look it up recently.
Interesting. Okay, didn't know that.
Would have never
Um,
get like I had no idea. I was like, where does toothpaste come from?
yeah,
I guess
makes
it's New
sense.
York.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Then we on to Wisconsin, the retribution game. I really really hope we smoke the shit out of Wisconsin. I just have so many hard feelings still.
Mhm.
We had Big Doofus on the Suns there for a couple years, Kaminsky, and I wanted to like him, couldn't do it. I just can't let go of those feelings. They broke my heart 2 years in a row. So I hope we wipe the floor with them. And then probably the biggest game, all season? Purdue, Arizona, number one, number
One versus
two,
two.
Indy Classic. That is going to be on the 16th. Huge game. I hope they just make Zach Edey look like the bitch that he is. I'll say it. Um, That's not going to come back to
Well, there's
bite me
definitely
at
a
all.
reason though. Like you're like the best center in the country or whatever he is. Like, do they call him a center? They call him a center, right? And you just keep staying in school. Like that's weird. And you don't stay
He's
in
seven
school in
four.
hoops if you're really really good. So he's got
Yeah.
So he's a center, right? Like
Yeah.
does he masquerade? They didn't masquerade him as a forward or something.
Then they go on and play Alabama, who I believe just lost, right? I think Bama just lost. Yeah, they did. They're 5-1. Still a good team though. The Fighting Greg Burns. Then they play FAU, the Owls, Lane Kiffin's old stop.
They're like a top
Um,
15 school too, though.
13th in the country, my
Yeah,
man.
FAU's
Yep.
no joke. Yeah,
And then they go into conference play. So schedule never gets easy for these cats, which I think is a good thing, right? I think you
agreed.
want to be battle tested going into March. They put together a hell of a schedule. So far, they've handled it really, really well. Let's hope that they continue to do so. I'm fully bought in on Tommy Ball though. They, like I said, super well balanced. They got some athletes this year. They got some Euro guys that do Euro things. They're smart with the ball, fundamental. All the shit that people say about white people,
Just
you know.
Euroing out there, just
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah. Fun team though, man. What are your thoughts so far on college hoops?
Yeah, I think first with the Cats, just like you mentioned, I think it's like really just the guards stepping up, the toughness, the guys that you would expect to step up in the moments have so far, right? And it's been a little bit of a rotation of whether it's going to be Caleb Love, whether it's going to be Kashad Johnson, whether it's going to be, Boswell. All of those guys have stepped up at any given moment, hit big shots. Pella Larson was in foul trouble, but I know he's going to step up and make plays in some games.
Yep.
Him as a complementary piece, as opposed to being like a key figure and cog on the offense is like a huge advantage for us as a team and even really good for Pella, I think, in terms of like how he'll shine moving forward, no matter where he plays and at what level. So I just think in terms of like the roster construction and everything that they've done, it's everything that we've been asking for, right? So uh, I don't feel crazy for banging at the door for Tommy to like go out and get these guys because that's what he went out and got. Like he saw it too. Like he didn't see anything that we weren't seeing as fans. We knew this team had to be more athletic, a little longer on the wing, and just
Yep.
overall tougher. And that's what he's done. Like with just going out and getting guys.
Transfer
Um,
portal, baby.
yeah, and just hit it hard, dude, and then like continue. And the nice thing is, like, I think he can backfill with these European guys, like guys that are a little bit more of developmental projects, but like understand how to play the game. And you can see like those some of those guys, like I mean, and Krivas certainly more skilled than I thought he was going to be. Didn't see him closing out this game against Michigan State. It'll be interesting to see moving forward if he gets a little more run because Ballo looked a little bit suspect at times. Certainly going with like a Hackaballo type feel, where it's like just put this man on the free throw line and I don't think he wanted any part of those free throws, frankly, but we got through it
Yep.
and survived it. And then I haven't been watching a ton of the rest of the college basketball landscape, but I am very much looking forward to playing a Purdue team that never seemingly can get much of anything done in the tournament, and is just another one of those schools that look, the Big Ten schools hide in the Big Ten for the most part, right? There's a reason they inbreed. It's so that nobody has to know about the third eye, right, or whatever's going on over there. Um, Look, it's more like I feel bad when Ben's on here and I'm just banging on Big Ten stuff, but like this is just how I feel. This is who I am. This is what I believe. I've never been impressed with the Big Ten basketball team, so I'm very much looking forward to playing those schools, and then we'll see what's up when we get into the Big 12 next year because I think that's when we'll really see like week to week some real big time talent, and
It's gonna be
dude, I'm
nasty.
excited for it, man. I'm stoked for those types of games. But I'll definitely be starting to watch a little bit more Big 12 once we get into conference play.
Mhm.
Because I definitely want to see what we're up against, even though these rosters certainly will be overhauled in the offseason because that's what happens in college basketball now.
Yeah, it's college basketball, dude. That's just what
Yeah.
happens. I had Big 12 right now. I mean, they got TCU, they're good. Texas is ranked. Well, they're about to be gone, but still. West Virginia is usually pretty good, even though they don't have their boy there anymore.
Yeah.
A&M is ranked. Wait, A&M. Wait, I'm reading that wrong. Iowa State played A&M. That's why I'm seeing that. Man, that sucks. A&M is ranked since when? Yeah, that's weird.
They
Oh,
sneak in there every now and then though.
yeah. Oklahoma beat USC again, going to the SEC. But Houston, number 6 in the country. Baylor beat Florida, 13th in the country. Texas Tech whooped ass on Michigan. That's a good team, right? Oklahoma State, BYU is typically pretty good. They beat North Carolina State. Love beating the Mormons in basketball. That's always great. Been doing that my whole life. So, you know, we get to play Iowa in basketball, don't we? No, I was Big
No,
Ten. Yeah.
yeah. I was like,
Why am I? It keeps popping up with these random teams.
well, here's the
Whatever.
thing though, but this is true. Like, I mean, I'll just step in for you there. Like, we're having to relearn this. Like, it is. I have been ignoring. Right. So like there's, certainly, that's why like I'd be happy to have someone on the Big Ten who comes in and clowns on us because I do like I have been in the Bill Walton school of thought of like these are all truck stops. These are places I don't want to visit. These
Yeah.
are all silly people. I don't know why they live there. I'm glad they have college sports to keep them entertained. And we got to take on all of those guys soon.
We do.
So
We
we're
do.
part of it. That's why I was trying to embrace Farmageddon, get to visually see football in the snow. That also broke my brain, the idea that Arizona could be playing a game in the snow. Like that's never even really crossed. I mean, look, I
Never.
know it's happened in Wazoo. It could
Washington
happen.
State.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could happen there. Like, but like us playing them late in the season, not normally very likely. Uh, but like with the Big 12 schools, I guess we have to open our minds to the possibility of snow football.
Weird. By the way, Kansas was number one. That's a big that matchup there.
Yes, and you
Ooh,
can't.
that's what
Yes,
dreams are made out of, right there.
yes, and I seriously am so excited to play Kansas multiple times. Like I was so excited to play Duke. I was so excited to play Michigan State. I'm excited to play Purdue. Like I want to see big time games, man. Like that's what it's all
Gonna have a
about. Like
lot of them,
go
dude.
play those games. And uh, I respect Tommy as much of anything for just like loading this schedule up with real tests. I
Yeah,
mean, that takes
big time
balls, but he's
test.
doing it, man.
Yep. Well, college basketball is in full effect. I always look at Thanksgiving, by the way, and I don't know if this is why, but like when I was younger, I remember I got food poisoning at Thanksgiving one time, and I remember I was just like in bed for like 3 days and just watching all the college basketball. This is like when it
Yeah.
officially starts for me. Like all the games before that are like, all right, whatever. This is where it starts. This is like where college basketball is happening every day, and it's like full on in your face. Deuces are wild. Go out and get it. I don't know about you, but
No,
I'm fully bought in now.
no, I'm with you. It's there's something about like once you get through Thanksgiving, it just sort of shifts and um I mean, I'll say I'm like more into the NBA than I've been to. I'm following pretty close.
Yeah.
I just haven't,
Watching
and
that
I
in
know that
season tournament.
it's certainly part. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just the Suns knowing they're going to be relevant and knowing that they're likely going to be in this come playoff time.
Yep.
Just has my antenna up, right? So like I'm definitely paying attention to it, watching it a lot more. And I think the same goes with college basketball. It certainly doesn't hurt when your team's number 2 in the country. You sort of want to know the lay of the land and like what should I actually be afraid of out there. And so far so good. But
Yep.
I'm sure Kansas and some teams out there will have some noise. And Kentucky team still curious. I still need to get my eyes on those guys. Check out these Warlocks. But yeah, we'll have to see. But stay
Yeah.
tuned. Maybe we'll start bringing you some college basketball from time to time.
Yeah. Tis the season. So I think we will. Yeah, we'll definitely start coming off of the football train here pretty soon, naturally, bringing more hoops action. So just be on the lookout for that. If that's in your bag, go ahead and tune in. Click that subscribe button. Maybe we'll start doing more of these lives, so you guys can kind of look forward to that. But then, yeah, just make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, you're subscribing on whatever you listen to audibly. Share it, like share it with a friend if you like the discourse that we're having on whatever topic right now. Kick it out to a friend. Maybe we touched on one of their teams. We said they fucking suck. You want to share that clip with them? That'll be out there. And let me tell you, we're on all social medias. We were broadcasting live to Twitter tonight, broadcasting to YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on all of it. So make sure you're following us there. Leave us a comment, shoot us a DM. Let us know what you guys want to hear about, and we'll bring it to you. All right. Now, the last thing I will say, if you guys didn't take advantage of that Black Friday sale with Tasty, you probably missed out. But what I can tell you, they're still available. Maybe they're not as cheap, they're not as discounted as they were, but they're just as impressive on the course as they were on Black Friday. Let me tell you, Henny's a big time user of them. He said earlier he had them on the links this weekend. Let me tell you, nothing is better than when you just pipe a 300-yard drive, right? And you get to take that tee, stick it right in your mouth, and you're just tasting peppermint, tasting spearmint, wintergreen. My man's got tons of flavors. Look at that right there. We got lime action. All right. I know it's winter. All right. And I know we're bundled up, but we're out on the course still. And you know what? Nothing hits better than a Gatorade or maybe an adult beverage and then a tasty. Let me tell you, you'll be piping 300-yard drives all day with a tasty in your mouth. That's a guarantee. It's a jump shots from the goal line guarantee. Go out and get it. Go hit up tasty.com and make your round that much sweeter. So, with that, guys, we'll catch you next week. Plenty to talk through. We'll probably have Ben back on the show, talk about some bowl action games. I'm pretty sure that we'll have bowl games kind of set out by that time. We'll have some over-unders. We'll have Ben's picks, all that kind of fun stuff. But until then, we'll talk to you later. Bye.